Welcome back to another Alliance War video. We have 4 Loki versus HC Armageddon. They banned Hulk, Silk, and Titania. Ghost and Kingpin are globally banned. I have a few buddies in this alliance, so it should be a good one. Shout out to Blue and Icarus. So here I am bringing in Decay as my tactic. Obviously he counters Sugar Pill, so we need a Decay attacker. And I'm just kind of reading through the node there, and I'm going to be bringing in SpiderGwen, Shuri, and Peni Parker. And Peni is again there for the synergy for SpiderGwen to ramp up her spider charges, and Shuri will be taking a couple fights. So when we were planning the war, I was just kind of thinking about a Domino on a certain path that goes debuff immune. So Shuri didn't exactly pop up to mind, but she's gonna have to take that in order to make the map work out. So here I'm just kind of looking over if I really want to bring in Shuri, if there's anybody else, but ultimately I select her. And let's get into the first fight. So I have this ManThing on path 6, and he's global. I'm going to be using SpiderGwen, so I don't have to worry about my dex buff. I can slow him when he's knocked down. But I went into this fight thinking that it was just going to be a cakewalk. My debuffs on ManThing are ultimately going to reduce the Thorns damage, or they at least appear to. I've seen that in other war videos from our alliance previously, so I'm not worried about that. And I sort of lose track of one thing. See, spiked armor, that I don't have to worry about that. I lose track of or I didn't even think about his postural buffs being placed on me. And once they expire, obviously it'll trigger the global. And at first, I don't really notice it because I'm just going to go in ham. I want to spam my SB1s and get that Ineverate on him, and really just going to keep him in the corner and just keep doing so, because then he can't even gain any power. So this is why I rush at him right here. Parry, he's slowed right now, so if he were to, if any postural buff would be on me and expire, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going ham here, and he ultimately will throw his SB1, and there I have 2. I'm not thinking about those expiring. The slow is still on him, so I'm like, okay. But here it's about to expire, and he goes unstoppable, and I back off, and I'm like, whoa. And I hit him twice there, and I'm like, was that his ability for heavy? I was like, no, it's his postural buffs. And I'm like, oh, okay, I have to keep that slow up, by knocking him down or heavying him. So she has her own slow with a heavy. So ultimately, it's perfectly safe. I just, something that keep in mind for future wars when I plan to send a global versus ManThing. That's just my fault. I did not think of that. It's not a fight that I was worried about at all, and those things always happen in war. You overlook something, and that's when it can go wrong. So Atuma is next up, and this is obviously Shuri's fight. And for this fight, I basically don't want to parry him, although I could to ramp up my matrix charges. I really prefer not to. I just like to take hits on the block and build my matrix charges that way. And then build up my shocks. But this Atuma, of course, in war is not going to play very nice. He's gonna basically hit me once and then try to heavy, and hit me once and try to heavy, and that's just not really gonna work with my strategy. I'm using a combat regen here just basically because I want to keep her topped off for the Domino I gotta fight later. And you see here, I'm not able to build any matrix charges, so I'm not building many shocks, and I'm just like, I even decided to take this in the block to get one more matrix charge. I throw the SB1 here just to get things going so the shocks don't drop off, and I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to ultimately, slowly chip him down. He would have been like 3/4 of the way dead right here, and here's a huge lag. In the middle of my special, I was like, man, I swear these lags in war are going to just kill me one day. And there I accidentally parry, but I'm at 10 matrix charges at this point, so I'm like, okay, perfect. If he can just throw this SB2, then I'm good. But I have some precision charges on here, and he's not throwing this, so I'm just gonna go for it. I was gonna go into my striker, into my SB1 or SB2, and kill him, and ultimately he goes down. So Again, she's a really hard counter for him, even when his AI doesn't play nice. And next up I have this Rintra on path 5 in section 2. This has Sadist, so he's going to gain more attack for every debuff I place on him. And he's tactic, and I'm a DK attacker, so every contact I place, I'm going to place a Wither. I'm going to place an Enervate. I have Resonate on as well, and I'm going to slow him on knockdown. So he is going to have, you know, massive damage increase. I'm also running Max Despair and Max Inequity with all the debuffs that I'm placing with Shuri and SpiderGwen. It just makes sense to run that, so they're not healing constantly from it as I'm attacking them, and I can lower their attack as they're coming at me. So here I just get him in the corner, and I got a quick intercept at the start, and I knock him down. Here the plan basically is to keep an eye on his mystical charges, right? I get an intercept there, throw my SB2, which stuns him, get him in the corner, throw my SB1, so my spider mode is on, and I can Neverate him in the corner here and make the most out of that Fury when the protection is down. So here at this point I use my relic to get into a heavy to knock him down. I want to bait this SB1, and he throws it, and it's about a minute into the fight, and he's under 40%, so I'm really happy with this. I've never used SpiderGwen this much in my life, so I'm kind of like just, you know, winging it, playing it by ear. It's hard to duel with her without the increased spider charges with Peni and the global, so you know, you can only kind of have an idea of the basic strategy to fight Rintra. But you see here, he's ultimately going down, and I want to bait this SB1. The protection is back up, but I'm not going to push for intercept if I don't have to here. I'm just really kind of managing his mystical charges. Right here I dumped his power, so if he had more health I would have gone for intercept, but the SB2 into a stun that would have a striker after I would have killed him either way. So I just played that super safe. Now I have this Domino, and shout out to my boy Wheeler who placed a white Magneto pre-fight. This is an ascended Domino. So yeah, this is a fight where I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. After some duels, I was like, okay, well, I can parry her, and I don't have to worry about Mighty Charge. She is going to shrug my shocks, so I can't build them up over 10 or even up to 20 and throw my SB1. So what I'm going to do basically is I want to throw SB1s, and I'm not going to care about the protection. I'm just going to basically get to my special one and throw it right here to build precision charges, so I can then after build critical shocks. And I was hoping to do this until I get to about 10. That was the plan going in. Here I want to bait this SB2, and she's being a little stingy here. You know, just trying to manage her power, and I don't want those critical shocks to fall off. So she throws this finally. I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm at 10 matrix charges, so I throw this SB1 to refresh, and then I'm going to build some more precision charges. And yeah, the plan basically was to build it about 10 to 15 critical shocks, and I know they're not doing too much damage, but even still, she's at 67% about a minute into this fight. And here I throw SB1. She cannot evade Shuri's specials. Okay, so I don't have to worry about Lucky in that moment. So she's at 13, 15 shocks right there, and I'm like, okay, I can now try to go for a intercept, and I get one there. And at this point I'm like, all right, this is perfect. I need to throw my SB1 to refresh it. You see it's doing 3k ticks. The Fury's about to expire, and there I get crit failed. So Shuri has her Sig allows her to block on unblockable specials, but it also gives her a percentage chance to have a perfect block. And when that fails, it's a very low chance, I basically get crit failed. So she can get crit failed versus Domino. Just keep an eye out for that. It obviously only happened once in that fight. It's a very low percentage, but something you want to keep an eye out. But ultimately she handled that well. I think I only got one intercept with damage, maybe two throughout the whole fight. A little bit slower, but I wanted to play it safe. Now I have this debuff immune Sassy mini, and I was a little worried about this because again, I have not taken this fight with SpiderGwen. I took him on a different node. This one's a little trickier because I can't inevitate him basically after my SB1 because he goes debuff immune, and when you inevitate Sassy, he can't gain his rage stacks, so which limits or reduce your damage basically as they go up. So there, I get the Fury up. My plan is basically just to keep knocking him down and get him in that 30% range and see what my damage is doing. And here I'm doing 15k mediums and 10k light attacks when they crit, and I'm like, man, this damage is freaking awesome. And this is where the Peni Parker synergy is really working its magic to be already ramped up at this point, because he's in his 30% regen mode now, right? And I'm like, okay, I know that she pops off a big special 3 and has red damage after. So what I'm hoping to do here basically is just to get him around 30%. And Wrath is triggered, so now all that damage mitigation is gone. And I want to get my SB3 off when his Wrath is up, or when right now when he has very low charges. So I want to get this SB2. I'm gonna heavy here to get the Fury up, and hoping that he was gonna throw that right off the bat, and he doesn't. And I'm like, okay, throw this, perfect. I'm gonna do a combo to get some damage, and then throw this SB3 to hopefully end the fight. But really, I have power back boosts on, so I would come out with this with some damage or some specials that I can do, but the red damage kills him in the end. So that went absolutely perfect. I was really happy with that fight. Ultimately, we did win this war. Shout out to my battle group. I think we got a donut. And GG's to HC Armageddon. Shout out to Karate Mike, Andrew, and Madcat for the MVPs. And that was our war. Felt good to get a win on the season, another one, and we will see you in the next one.